SalsaHead Podcast, we're moving to the groove. SalsaHead, we got nothing to lose. Feel the rhythm, feel the heat. Join the dance, move your feet. Artists bringing fire, bands lighting up the night. Every note, every step keeps the passion tight. From classic to the new wave, salsa's always fresh. We're here to kick and moving with every single beat. Oh, SalsaHead Podcast, we're moving to the groove. SalsaHead, we got nothing to lose. Feel the rhythm, feel the heat. Join the dance, move your feet.
Dímelo SalsaHeads, and welcome back to another episode of SalsaHead Podcast. I'm your host, Charlie Swing DeLone, and I want to thank all of you guys who have been giving us a lot of love, support, going to the website, checking everything out, listening to the pod. I love you guys. I appreciate it. Please share, like, subscribe. This is a movement that we will be pushing for from here to forever, as sin la salsa no hay paraíso. Y ahora hay que hablar de la salsa, as there's so much to be talked about, right? There's so much happening. But before we get into today's episode, I'd like everybody to just take their time. If you haven't, press that like button, press like, share, subscribe. You know, share with a friend. Share with that SalsaHead that you know that's always blasting some music. And yeah, we're going to keep it going and see how it goes. And as we go and grow, we will have interviews and different types of content that we can create. And I can't wait to offer that to you. In fact, our first interview will be Jody Music and Ron Renaissance from the Uptown Royalty Band, which they play salsa, they play hip-hop, they play pop music. Jody Music is one of the most dynamic singers you guys have yet to hear, right? So I can't wait for you guys to hear from them and many others. We will have also Willie Rodriguez from the ISM, the International Salsa Museum, join us. We're also going to have different dance companies. I've spoken to many of you guys about being on the pod. So something to look forward to as we grow and see the weeks go by. Look out for those announcements and upcoming interviews as we proceed. With that, we will start today's episode. Recently, there was a posting I saw, and it's true, that it's been 60 years since the legacy of Fania Records hit the scene. What an amazing achievement. 60 años de la Fania. What an amazing achievement. It speaks upon the levity and the energy that salsa can have, the longevity that salsa has. 60 years, and some of those songs, as old as we know they are, they sound brand new to our ears. We're very, very into them. Uno pone un periódico de ayer or any one of the songs from Celia, like Kimbara or Bemba Corora, or you even talk about El Raton. You know, just all these songs which we know are even older than 60 years. Yet, you play it for new ears today, 2024, and they sound amazing still. They sound fresh. They sound like they were recorded yesterday. And that's the beauty of it, right? That's the beauty of this music, the beauty of the energy that this music can bring and can generate. And as we reflect on the incredible 60-year legacy of Fania Records and the rise of salsa music itself, right? We can kind of mirror the rise of salsa, not just in popularity, but even in terms of economic status, to the status of Fania Records itself, right? Through the efforts of Jerry Masucci and Dominican Republic's own Johnny Pacheco, right? With their energy, we really have been able to build such a great foundation. And it got me thinking, because it's important to also look forward and imagine, what does the future hold? What are the possibilities? Can we see more salsa in schools? Or can we see more places like Boys Harbor in the future, offering young folks to develop their musical talents? Not just multiplying this across the country, but expanding this internationally. And really like building upon all of this wonderful work that has been provided to us, that has been gifted to us throughout these last 60 years. So as we look at the future, right, I look at salsas in schools across the globe. How and what does that look like? So imagine a network of salsa-focused institutions where students from all walks of life can immerse themselves in the rhythms and culture of salsa. Picture schools being more than just a place of just learning and fostering love, but really a place like conservatories, a place that can create or become cornerstones. We don't have a Juilliard. In fact, I thought growing up, Boys Harbor would be our Juilliard, right? There forever, legendary. I gotta be honest, I even saw myself being an instructor there one day. So why not, right? Why not have similar experiences that conservatories for classical music, for jazz, for all types? Why not salsa? And a lot of this is really just off the backs of like the lasting impact, right? This is not even talking about what we can do because this new artist is doing that or this new artist is doing this. Literally just from the 60-year foundation, imagining something so profound. I imagine salsa band competitions. There's been some, right? There's been unofficial opportunities for bands to showcase themselves, but I think bringing back something exciting would be fun. And doing something that's local or even national or international. These competitions would create such a friendly and competitive environment for these young bands that can showcase themselves, that could bring the fire that they have within themselves to salsa in every corner of the globe. Competition isn't always something that's negative. A lot of people get, queasy about competition, but competition could range from traditional salsa ensembles to more experimental groups fusing salsa with other genres or just bringing a fresh new look because they're motivated. Yes, I want my band better than yours. Hey, I want my band to sound better than yours. I want my band to look better than yours. I want my band to be just the band. And that creates a very healthy environment, not just for the musicians where there's more opportunity, right? More opportunity to showcase themselves, be able to move around, take different opportunities that right now, if they exist, don't really seem like realistic ways to go about doing music. So it would really be a motivator to just be the best of the best and go out there and leave it all on the stage. This is also very, very advantageous to the dancing community. I mean, how wonderful would it be to be... See, we go to dance competitions all the time. The Salsa Congress is all about, I don't know if it's a competition, but it's a showcase. And everybody gets to show what they got. And it creates more dancers and more music and more dancers and more dance groups and more dance studios. All of a sudden there's more salsa socials. This is how it happened. And we're seeing it continue to grow worldwide. Every major city in the U.S. has a Salsa Congress now. Most of the major countries in Europe have a Salsa Congress. I was surprised to be at the Russian one in Moscow. I was like, wow, we're in Moscow at a Salsa competition or a Congress. But in my head, I look at it as a competition, right? I know it's not built that way. It's not designed to be a competition, but it's friendly. It's inviting. This also brings a lot of revenue to record labels. This also brings a lot of revenue to record labels. If you are now a record label listening to my voice, thank you, by the way. Imagine being able to market an extra 10, 15 more bands that are actually generating revenue through different means. We now live in an environment where it's not just selling albums. You can do so many different things now. With the digital age and AI, there's so much we can explore. Imagine you as a studio exec actually really having choice as well, right? The opportunity to have so many musicians to look forward to listening to. I don't know, call me crazy, but that's just my hot take on that, right? Where it's just enough with the scarcity of bands and opportunity for different musicians to showcase themselves. And why not in a competition form, right? Like friendly competition where everybody gets to really just have fun. Because salsa is a really global game. And if we look at it from a global perspective, salsa isn't just music. And this is why we are salsa heads, specifically because salsa is a movement. It's a culture. It's a lifestyle. I live, breathe, eat salsa, and I know a lot of you do the same. So by creating some of these ideas that can kind of build themselves and be built up to something greater than anything that's happened in the last 60 years would be amazing. And it's beautiful to dream. It's beautiful to dream about that. And maybe my grandkids, my great-grandkids, they don't look at salsa as just a sidebar music or, el viejo ese está con la música vieja eso. Because that's what they're saying now on the streets. It's my daughter, young adult, listens to salsa, already like, oh God, dad, come on. Already with she's embarrassed that I'm listening to Frankie Ruiz blasting it in the car. Que se mueran de envidia, todito que se mueran de envidia. Like Frankie would say in that song. Let's play salsa, let's blast it, and let's take it out of that mindset where folks think it's just for old people. Salsa is not for the old. Salsa is not for those who were around 60 years ago. Salsa is for all of us. It's a global game. It's a global movement. A lot of you may not remember, but Orquesta de la Son from Japan, killing it at Massacre Garden. Oh my God. Yo, talking about showing out. They showed out for the culture. And if you have not seen Orquesta de la Luz, Orquesta de la Luz, I'm not sure if I said that before. I think I said Orquesta de la Son. But Orquesta de la Luz, if you look it up on YouTube or any medium, fire. I mean, straight fire. And they didn't grow up in New York. They didn't grow up in Puerto Rico. They don't know what it is to, deal with the mean streets of the Heights or Harlem. They're from Japan, Osaka, or from, anywhere they're from. They're not from here. Yet, in their blood runs the same energy that runs in your blood, in my blood, in all of our blood, which is salsa. Salsa. So these could be the next evolutions of the salsa fire that Fania ignited all those 6 decades ago, sparking a passion and excitement in the hearts of generations past, present, and those to come. We have the opportunity to do it, and that's, something I'm very excited about. Very excited about. So that got me into list modes. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to list off my top 10 things needed for salsa's future. And what I want for you guys is to hit the comments and let me know. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think there should be other things? Do you have a different vision? What do you want to see in the future of salsa? But me, these are my top things.
10.
Number 10. I'm going to go from 10 to 1. Number 10. We need to invigorate and innovate and kind of integrate ourselves with this new technological world. Embracing cutting-edge technology such as VR or augmented reality would be something that I think can create an immersive salsa music and dance experience, where this would give bands the opportunity to kind of give a concert experience in your living room. I think that would be so fantastic, where on demand, if you wanted to hear this particular band or that particular band and you didn't want to see, you don't have babysitting, you don't have the ability to go to another city and see that band, how awesome would it be through AI or VR or AR, augmented reality, to kind of project the band into the living room, and you're getting the full experience. I don't know. That's something, would be, I think, fantastic. Fantastic.
9.
Number 9. More money. More money, more money, more money, more money. According to digitalmusicnews.com, as of 2023, salsa music is part of the broader Latin music market, which hit a record revenue of $1.4 billion in the U.S. market, as a 16% growth compared to the previous year. Latin music has been steadily increasing its presence, driven by strong streaming figures, which make up over 98% of the genre's revenue. Salsa, while no longer dominating the salsa Latin music scene as it did in the previous decades, benefits from this growth due to its inclusion in the broader Latin genre. However, specific data for salsa's standalone revenue share is not typically separated from the overall Latin music market and industry reports. But the resurgence in Latin music, including salsa music, according to Digital Music News, is driven by streaming services, both paid and ad-supported. So salsa culture's influence continues to thrive globally, although it faces challenges such as declining physical album sales, declining live performances opportunities, and being overall included in the genre of Latin music itself. It's not exactly being the one driving the train. The future opportunity for salsa live infusion genres or more live performances, and according to them, culture preservation efforts, as seen through ongoing interest in salsa congresses and festivals worldwide. You can check out their article on digitalmusicnews.com. You can Google and just talk about. You can Google salsa market revenue share, salsa money, and then it'll take you towards these articles. But number 9, I would totally want to see more revenue into our market share, where we regain that leader status as the dominating Latin music. I get it. Reggaeton has really hypnotized the entire globe. However, salsa, I believe, is a lot more preserved, a lot more longer lasting, and I'm gonna say it's just a better music. So I know we can do it. We're in the future, and not only is salsa having more of a revenue share, but we'll see more money into salsa, and we'll see more artists like myself or many musicians, instead of struggling and being starving musicians, we can be thriving musicians that are being rewarded for the work we're doing, right? And that's something that I really truly believe can happen, as it's $1.4 billion in the Latin music market. You're telling me we cannot grow that and have a bigger chunk of it than 16%? I think we could do better than that. So number 9 is that.
8.
Number 8. Talking about money, I would want to see government-supported legislation. Many countries have employed the notion of giving artists a stipend, some sort of economic backing, where they can concentrate, an individual can concentrate on his or her craft and maximize on all the opportunities. So for those of you who are painters, right, you won't have to worry about going to work at a diner or Target or anything all day and then coming at home to paint all night. You could just paint all day, and then whatever you sell in your portfolio, you pay your taxes on, and boom, you're able to make revenue for yourself. Same for musicians, same for any gig-based artist. I would want to see grants, residence opportunity, right? Where there's so many opportunities to give low-income housing to those who are artists, right? Funding to support independent salsa artists, right? Grants that are specific for art and development of musical art acts, right? There's so much that I think legislatively, in terms of our local government, that we can do, that we can fight for, that we can talk to our elected officials about and say, hey, listen, what happened to all the after school programs? What happened to them? What happened to all the opportunities that I used to have that my kid doesn't now? And I know they used to call us latchkey kids or after school kids or whatever it is, but guess what? I was at rehearsal. Many others were building up their art, their drawing skills. Others were learning how to sing. Others were learning how to dance. And guess what? In the future, 22 years later, a lot of us are professionals doing that. Living very stable lives. Fulfilling lives. Are we rich? No. Maybe some of us are. Maybe some of us are. But in reality, we had a foundation. So, seeing some sort of government, local involvement would be a wonderful thing to see in the future.
7.
Number 7 is kind of happening, but I think given that we only know that 16% of the market share is being used by salsa, and 98% of streaming of the music is being done by streaming, us talking about digitalization and streaming should expand itself to being a little more specific to salsa. Maybe a streaming platform specific to salsa itself, right? Where you don't necessarily have to go to Wapa America or Z93 to kind of listen to dope salsa all day, right? Or some internet, and shout out to all the internet DJs, but again, it's very limiting. There's not as many as you would want. So how about having a centralized focus where everybody can stream through an app or anything, where everything is kind of curated through there. So there's already streaming done, and obviously 98% of the genre is being consumed on digital media, on digital form. So how do we improve the numbers on that? And I think part of that is really just making it more specialized.
6.
Number 6, inclusion in school curriculums. This one is out there, but why not? I mean, why not create a Salsa Appreciation Month or a Salsa Heritage Month? Something that can teach students beyond Celia, Tito Puente, Hector Lavoe, and Mike Anthony, right? We could really learn about Patato. We could learn about Tataguinis. Those of you who don't know that name, Google that name, Tataguinis. Especially you percussionists out there. We can learn about these people, right? Making it more centralized and more formalized in a school setting. Integrating this into all cultural studies, right? Where there's a cultural studies club or cultural studies class where this is concentrated on. I would love that.
5.
Number 5, partnerships with mainstream media. I think part of the revenue share issue of the $1.4 billion that is pumped into the Latin music market is really us not kind of reaching out to each other. And I don't mean you and me and band to band, but more collaboration, if that's the word. It's hard to even put it together, but collaborating with major streaming platforms, film studios, TV networks that can create salsa themed shows, documentaries, movies. I know right now Netflix is very open to such things, as they are upcoming. They're going to debut a Tito Puente biopic and a documentary, right? So that's something that I'm very proud to know is coming and is on a platform that is so vast, like Netflix, that reach that I'm talking about will grow. right? More people will learn about Tito Puente than ever before because of Netflix. This is what I mean by making more partnerships with mainstream media, right? Us being part of the bigger picture of what's happening as people consume their music, movies, any entertainment.
4.
Number four is happening too, right? But I think maybe what I need to kind of amend it on the fly as saying we need more marketing for global festivals, right? There are global festivals that are happening for salsa throughout the world, but let's talk about creating a Coachella, right? A huge, just fantastic global event that is centered around salsa. If something like that exists, please someone educate me. I will go because I've been to salsa congresses. I've been to different festivals. For God's sakes, like Silencia, at some point we performed in a, I don't know how else to describe this, but it was a World War II bunker where it's a airplane hangar where the stage was within the hangar in Lars, Germany. Right, so it's worldwide. There are worldwide festivals happening, but we need more marketing for it. And I think what we need is a Coachella, a Salsela, Salsela. I think that would be fantastic.
3.
Number 3, cultural preservation initiatives. So we need to ensure that our roots of salsa are preserved. I myself, through the podcast, if you go to SalsaHeadPodcast.com, I offer salsa culture workshops and salsa music workshops. So if you're interested in learning how a band is composed, what the musicalities of the bands are, or just what is salsa culture broken down without just bullet points, we need workshops, right? I offer those workshops. I'm not sure if there's any others. As we continue to see the International Salsa Museum grow, we will see them become a beacon of preserving our culture and keeping up with all of the different things that are happening and documenting everything that's happening, because I think that's something that we need them the most for. Nothing's really been documented and put all in one place, right? So preserving our culture will be paramount. Number 3.
2.
Number 2. This one's interesting, but I really thought about it, and it is high on my list, considering what's happening worldwide, and I really truly believe this. Salsa for wellness. If salsa is anything, it is absolutely fun. It's therapeutic. I think if we promote it as a form of physical exercise, I think Zamba had the right idea at some point, and I don't know where it went. Right? But just promoting the well-being and the integrating salsa dance into health initiatives, wellness programs, introduce them into gyms, dance therapies, even wellness retreats where it's just connecting to your Latin culture or having others connect to the Latin culture. It really will foster a lot more just joy and promote mental health. I think in today's age, we need it more than ever. So if there's anything that I would say 100% is converting salsa or adapting salsa into a wellness vernacular.
1.
And number one thing we need are more bands. We need more bands. All of the things I said are beautiful. Everything I said is amazing. Everything I said sounds great. But it means nothing if we don't have bands. We need more bands. Calling out all musicians. Start new bands. Start new salsa bands. There is no such thing as too much competition. I've said this over and over, and I will continue to say that. Without the main component, which is the musician and the music, we have nothing. We might as well say salsa's dead. So yes, everything I've mentioned does kind of promote number one, right? Where, creating initiatives in schools, making it more accessible, having more money. Great. That actually does. I think that will create number one, right? More bands, more musicians, more music. But I said it last week. We need to regain the love of the game. The love of the game. Like, I love salsa, and I'll do it forever. I'll play everything else. I'm in a rock band. I'm in this band. I'm in bachata flow. If you guys are into bachata and salsa, merengue rather, we do some salsas, believe it or not, but mainly bachata and merengue. But I'm a salsa head forever. And I think I was born a salsa head. And I think with more bands, more musicians, more access, we'll see better results. An honorable mention from my list is seeing more rehearsal spaces. In the future, I would like to see a lot more spaces that are easier for access, right? Where it's not so expensive by the hour for a band to practice for 2 hours. I get it. Studios got to make their overhead, and it's expensive to maintain and build a studio. 100% on that. Well, that's why I didn't put it on the list, right? Because it's a very touchy subject. As a studio owner, you're running a business. We want you to thrive and survive and do well. So asking for a discount all the time won't help you. But if we had more rehearsal spaces, more opportunities for people to congregate, I think, again, number one would be reinforced. There'd be more opportunities to rehearse, so there'd be more bands. There'd be more opportunity to record, so there'd be more music. Right? So a lot of this stuff is wishful thinking. I'll say that right now. But save the date. Right? You never know. I might still be here in the next 60 years. So I'll be able to say, hey, look, we did it. That ends our episode today. Be sure to like, share, subscribe our podcast. Without you, we would not be here. So thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a salsa head. Just like me. I love it. And please check out our website, SalsaHeadPodcast.com. We have wonderful merch there. We have a Salsa Head coffee mug. We have Salsa Head sweater. It's getting cold. Get your hoodies. Get your hoodies out. Right? We got hoodies on the site. We have a purse. We have so many different things there that you can pick from. And we're going to be developing more as we grow. As always, I love you guys. Stay up. Y pa'lante, mi gente.
SalsaHead Podcast where the passion never ends. SalsaHead dancing with our friends. Feel the rhythm, feel the heat. SalsaHead, let's move to the beat.